so much good art in this magazine. Oh my gosh. Ah. Welcome to another episode of Kreative Kompany. I'm your host, Vina, where we visit artists in their creative studios and spaces just to talk everything about mental health, self-awareness, and self-actualization. So if y'all want to come with me, we're going to head to our very special artist we're visiting today and have a conversation with them. So we're outside of our artist's studio door. We're going to go ahead and give it a knock. So let's see if they are home.
Hello.
Hi, villager.
Welcome. Please come in.
All right.
Yes. Welcome to my studio. Welcome to this joyous
Thank
space.
you.
There's a lot of things in here. This is like my altar. This is where I really get to talk to myself. This is where I talk to my ancestors. This is where I record all of the things, all of the lives that I've ever lived, all of the joy, all of the stories that are being reincarnated, all of the lessons. This is where I have my commune with my ancestors on a different level outside of just my everyday life. And my everyday life also translates to what is here. So if you look all around here, there's a lot of writings all over the wall.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, currently I just wrote I'm in harmony with all. And I know I was telling you this about this, like to be in harmony, you have to have reverence, rejuvenation, rest, and rituals. And right now I'm currently having this conversation between love and mundane and divine, and how love in the mundane is actually divine, and how the divine is actually the mundane things. But yeah, my work is, I would describe it now as a communion with my ancestors. Outside of just trying to understand what it means to be a contemporary African.
Gotcha. I think we had talked about that before.
Yeah.
And just in that conversation, like what it means, like the different type of complexities that, you know, people like try to project or whatever the case may be, or what it like encompasses. So yeah.
Energy that I get in my painting when I'm moving and I'm making these grand abstract things, and then I get to cut it out, is like me sowing the seeds. And when you're sowing the seeds and when you're farming, you definitely need, when you're farming and you're moving, it's rhythm, and rhythm is music. And so that's a huge connection with my practice as well, is really connecting with the vibrations and the rhythms that sound like my ancestors, that make me feel what they felt.
Absolutely.
And it takes me to this very spiritual place that I just know that I've always been.
Beautiful.
Over here,
Yes.
we have paintings stack. It's closed. You get to see them later.
I'm excited. Aren't you having a show?
Yeah.
In October.
Yes.
I'm excited.
I have a solo show here in the Mezzanine Gallery in October. It's opening October 10th. The title of the show is Embodying the Divine. And a lot of these paintings, as you see here, this is one no one has really seen before, but a lot of these paintings, as you see here, are...
That real gallery right there.
Yeah.
Oh my God, so lit.
Yeah. This is my sister. And,
Hey sis.
Z and Iriayo. The painting is called Love is Like a Beautiful Rain. Or Z and Her Beautiful Rain. It's sort of tethering, but it's it's about connection, it's about feeling, it's about bond. It's also about Black motherhood as well.
Yeah.
This painting is the second in this series. Black Madonna, which I'm really exploring Black motherhood.
Okay.
And exploring my own belonging in this world through the mother. To get to the child, you have to go through the mother.
Yeah.
This is a mirror that I'm going to use that I got. Also, something really beautiful about having a studio here is that you know, people get to come into my studio, but also outside of this window, there's a nice little trash can there. And they got out those buildings because they're changing into apartments. And I got these mirrors, and
it's gorgeous.
they're gonna help in the installation. I have small works there. This painting is of my grandmother.
Beautiful.
Yeah, this painting is of my grandmother. It was kind of the first portrait I ever did before I realized that I'm into portraiture. Like, but it set me up to really explore, and that's the next one I did after
that
this.
one. So I can see like the trail of like your evolution.
Yeah. I also sometimes I really love color. My conversation with color is very intuitive, but there's sometimes I like to look like what would work well together.
Yeah.
And I get my paints from Home Depot just organically. I wake up every someday and I just I'm going to Home Depot, and they have a oops paint section.
Oh, oops paint.
Yeah, which is like people make the paint and they're like, I don't want it anymore.
Oh, that's tough.
Yes.
I did not know that.
So then for $10, I get to go there and what does the universe have for me today?
Yeah.
And I pick it up and I come back and then.
Oh, that's so neat.
Yeah. I have stack of stuff here. This is the flyer for my first solo show. Bush Boy. So I pay reverence to all the people who have sort of come before me, and I try to learn from them.
Right.
And then I have my altar here.
Yay.
And sort of things that remind me of what I need to be reminded of.
Who are you? Who am I? Where am I from? Why am I here? What am I here to do? Where am I going?
Yeah.
Those are really important questions. Like I told you earlier, a lot of people don't get to sit and really realize the answers to these, because they're like, oh, well, I'm just here, whatever. But it's also finding purpose. I always like to say, I like to know the why, not the how. Somebody's like, okay, so this is how you do it. One step. It's like, no, that's fine. There's a million ways to skin a cat, but I also find the deepness in the why, because I feel like that's more in depth, that's more originated, that's more rooted into your being and the things that you want to do. So I love this. And then paying homage,
Yeah. Yeah.
So good.
Real fun fact is that first time that I ever used cowries just came up to me. I was making a painting for Kende for our 10-month anniversary. It was this blue painting that I first showed at 410 Locks. And since then, the cowries have just moved and called onto me and showed up in so many different ways. But what I didn't know was that it was related to Ishu, which is the deity of the crossroads, the messenger. If you want to go to anywhere, you have to go to Ishu first. And he's sort of a deity that asks you to consider the full picture. If you're seeing this from this angle,
see it from a different
angle, and that different angle is going to be different from another angle. So I put the cowries in the eye. My work has developed to a place where I put the cowries in the eye and the mouth. But when I did it, I came to realize that it's an embodiment of Ishu.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, my work is really reverence.
Thank you for it. I appreciate this. And having us in your house. I got a couple of questions I'm going to ask you. So we're going to sit down, get a little situated, and we can start them, okay?
Yes.
All right.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to me.
So Belinda, thank you so much for having us in your studio. It's so beautiful. I feel like I'm at home. It's so good. So I have a couple of questions for you to answer, just to reflect on your artistry, also your mental wellness, mental health, and just giving us some insight about how you maneuver, not only just within, you being an artist, but also as an individual. So majority of your artistic expressions derive from, Ashe, your culture, you know what I'm saying? We already know Ashe is the commanding statement of manifestation, the divine, respecting that. How have you conditioned yourself to gain courage in commanding power and manifestation?
How have I conditioned myself
to condition yourself to commanding the power, owning that power?
So when I think about Ashe, I think about Ashe as more than a construct of command, or more than a construct of of energy. Ashe as everything. We are living Ashe. We are when we live in our purpose, even just living, when we speak, that is Ashe. This thing that you're sitting on is giving you ashe. When we wake up and we drink water, that water is giving us ashe. It's giving us nourishment, nurture. Ashe is just energy. And so moving with that and working with that currency of energy all around my life, I think has made me understand that like energy is not created,
Right.
but it's just transformed from one version or another. So the energy and the power and the courage and the confidence that I'm able to command in my work, that I'm able to command in my life, I know that it's not just happening right now.
Right.
It comes from my family. It comes from all of the experiences I've ever been through. It comes from my ancestors, my mother and my father. It comes from growing up in Nigeria, in Ikorodu, Lagos. It comes from my grandparents. It comes from all of the experiences that I've ever been through. It comes from all of the me's that I've ever experienced, all of the me's that I've died and I've been reborn and I've been born. It comes from everything that I've learned, unlearned, and relearned. So in that way, that ashe is essentialized as a currency of everything.
Gotcha.
So the power I'm able to stand in is the power of everything, which is really just abundance.
Right.
Abundance of knowingness, abundance of being, and kind of just like we're not supposed to be limitless. As spiritual beings, we just move and we just exist. So I would say the thing that has really allowed me to embrace this encompassing, this abundance encompassing, this ashe, has really been reflecting from nature.
Gotcha.
How nature is always
there,
expansive,
it's always evolving.
it just is.
It just is.
So I also just need to just be and is.
That's a great reflection on that too.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people just think that, it's a specific order of things, but also it's just like it's divinely happening. Yes, it's an order, but it's divinely happening in a cycle.
Yeah.
So good. I love that.
Thank you.
Ooh, getting deep, y'all.
We're supposed to build and destroy.
For real. You nurture and blend artists and community together just to, create an environment that just makes everything beautiful about just conversations, just about words. And I see that you take a liking to words and speaking things into existence, speaking to people. What inspires you to create such a sacred place for people and community?
So when I first started painting, the painting I first ever made was called Cage Vessels.
Okay.
And it featured me in this box trying to like run away, orange hued. But one of the first things that I realized that was really attracted to me was words.
Okay.
And how I use words as a way of confirmation or binding or calling back or releasing. Words and language is really the gateway to describe our experience, to affirm our experience, or to, what's the opposite of affirm?
Repel.
Yes.
Or like
to repel. Yeah. So when I talk about energy, words also have energy.
Yeah.
I grew up Christian, and so they say the tongue has power.
Yeah.
And so when I first started painting, I realized how much words played a part in what I wanted to say, who I was becoming, and how it was affirming that. And so when I create space, it's really about like how are people showing up, and what are the words that describe their experience, and how can we build this language of energy, this language of Ashe together. So words show up in my work, especially in writing, all around my studio here.
I see I'm like just writing all on the walls and like letting it seep in. Yeah, I think that's a beautiful thing too. I think I'm on my journey. Well, I know more so in this season, I am very focused on just making sure I mean what I say. Of course, I practiced that, beforehand, but I think now being as an adult, going throughout my womanhood and even my artistry or just, experiencing people and having conversations with people, the meanings or the intentions behind words are very, very heavy. So I think it's just more so of like a constant exercise for me. It's like, okay, no, if I need to sit before I explain something or answer something, I could give myself that type of, grace.
Yeah.
Or if there's an immediate reaction, I'm always like, why did I say that? But I know where it came from, what I'm saying? So words.
But sometimes you have to slow down.
Yeah.
I'm definitely someone who, like, my brain goes so fast, and I catch it. But when we think about words, so many people have so many different experiences and perspectives. And you realize, when we talk about issue again, you realize that the way you see the world is not absolutes. Only a mad person works in absolutes. So in order to be as fluid and not as fixed, you also have to let things in. And so creating a space where other people can, our energies can revolve around one another, can be refined, can be subtracted, added, just like that. It's a dance. It's an energetic dance. So creating a space where people can really dance with one another and energy, and the words are the things that kind of bind those energies together, is very exciting for me.
I love that. Keep doing it. I'm excited to see the next one. So, of course, just the evolution of self has been a thing. I've seen you. We've known each other since high school, y'all. And I've seen you in the beginnings of your artistry, when the pandemic was happening. And especially maneuvering, keeping logs of your earliest works. Yeah. And then now transforming into who you are now. And then just the evolution of going forward with that. It's really been a pleasure. I'm honestly honored to see it. I'll be like,
thank you.
I'll be talking about shit. I'll be like, villages. Yep, villages, that. So I understand just you capitalizing your full, your first name. Then also I understand, your pronouns, they, them. It shows that you have an immense amount of confidence within just your evolution and just the changing of it, because a lot of people are not accustomed to that, and it really does take a toll mentally on some people, just trying to figure out or answer the question of who am I? Yeah. So how has your journey? We was in it. How has your journey in rediscovering yourself been overall in all different aspects in your artistry and your personal? How has that journey been for you?
I would say my creative practice has really been the thing that has propelled me to figuring out who I am. Right. You definitely saw those questions as you walked in. Who am I? Where am I from? Why am I here? What am I here to do? And where am I going? And you were saying a lot of people don't have the time to think about it in that concrete way. But I think when I started painting, or when I started really embracing my creativity, and it's grown to this, to performance, to textile, to sculpture, lots of things, to facilitation. What really is there is when you create a space where you can just be, when you create a space even in here, creating a space where you can really allow yourself to blossom. We are gardens. And if you want to build a garden, you gotta put the wood.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you gotta, fertilize the soil.
You gotta water it. And so I think my creative practice has been the thing that has granted me this much knowingness, because it's allowed me to have a conversation with the past, with all my past selves. It's allowed me to have a conversation with the present, who I am right now, and who I want to be. And so when I started painting, and I started from I want love to be what is going to be greater than all. That propelled me to seek this space where I want to love myself. I didn't have a relationship with loving myself as I do now. I want to love myself because there's no one else who can be me. Right. And I have to be me, and everyone else is busy being them. So I have to be me,
Everybody else is truly
busy
being them. No, for real.
Yeah. And
for real.
And back to the name Villager in all caps is that once I started realizing okay, I'm alive. I'm a human being. I'm going through things, and then other people are going through the same things. May not be the same,
it's adjacent towards it. Yeah.
Grand scale, we're all living, and we're all surviving one another. And the name Villager kind of came from that, realization that it does take a village. And growing up, I've been called so many names. Abdul Rasheed on my birth certificate, Kunle, Balumi, Adekunle, Abdul, just so many variations, and so many other names that I probably don't even remember. So villager became this name that I put in front of the door, that when you open the door, you see all those beams, you see all those times, and time becomes cyclical. But in order to enter, I had to be villager. I had to say that I am connected to this, I'm connected to all of this, I'm connected to everything that's ever existed, and that is to exist, that is existing right now. So villager was my fixation to time and space, that allowed me to continue to exist. And really, my work now, it just developed to a place where, like, I want people to know that you are also here. You know, you are also powerful. You are connected to so much simply by existing.
Right.
Like, and I'll end with this. I have this this idea of philosophy. If you have an empty plot of land and there was air around it, if you place a house on that land, and now there's air inside the house, the same air that was in that land
is flowing through the house.
Is flowing through the house. So simply, you know, the moment we are born, we come with specific conditions and circumstances, but those conditions and circumstances are equally liberating as they are limiting, and we are fluxing between them and fluxing between them and fluxing between them. So sometimes you got to smell the air. Sometimes you got to close your nose. Sometimes you have to spray some air freshener.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to walk outside
to come back inside.
And to come back. So knowing that it's still all here and all of this is created for us to exist. So that's what my creative practice really opened my eye to see, this connection to the everything, this connection to the all, and that is divine. And you see the writing, loving the mundane is divine.
Yes.
Once you start loving all those little things, all the things that make
and
you.
And I had talked about that earlier at my weekly recap this week, just like finding the joy in the blissness and just like, just romanticizing everything. I be walking down the street, I'm like, I'm just outside and it's the trees and it's the sun and I'm drinking water. It's like, it's such a good
all
day.
All of this for me. I have an alarm every day at 4:30. This is part of the, this is part of the being present too. It says remember the big picture, but when I draw that breath of air, I'm entering a state of pause where I'm connecting myself with my ancestors. I'm connecting myself with time, but in a way that time is stopping, and I'm stopping time, and then I'm just
maneuvering around.
Yes, it's a tension that
I need an alarm to do that.
Yeah, so
my other friend has.
We can do it right now.
You want to do it right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ready?
Take a deep breath.
Yeah, 3 deep breaths.
Okay.
You take in, hold in, then release through your nose, and hold, then out through your mouth.
Okay.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Shit.
Yeah. I think I want to end it right there. Hold on. I'm good. I feel so much better feeling there. Oh.
Welcome to the magic.
Yes, and I get a hug. Thank you so much. Yes. This was beautiful. Yes. I really do appreciate you so much.
Thank
like
you.
for real.
Thank you. Thank you.
I
appreciate
you
and your growth. And the space that you create for artists.
Keep giving back and forth.
Yes, and the space that you create for artists, and you always live in as everything that you're supposed to be, and showing up for yourself, and showing up to the stage, and redefining, and reinventing, and constantly like pushing and pushing and pushing and reaching for the stars, because the stars are already in your hand.
Yes.
And thank you for granting me this space to tell my story.
Of course, no problem.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
You're gonna get out your house in a little bit. This
You don't need to
village,
leave.
y'all. Look, I don't need to leave. I'm gonna stay. This is my home.
Yes.
Thank you so much. It's Kreative Kompany with Villager, and we are out.
Now No, you said I'm a little big. You didn't say I'm a little thick. You said I'm a little big.
I'm a
That's
little
what I heard.
big. What was like?
We all
He dropped out because they said he was going to shoot. Oh, bitch. This. Oh. Didn't notice you there. Like, welcome back. Huh. Oh, it's cute? Yeah. Say that.